Tock, tick, tock. It's time to look at clocks. Hi, Elliot. I'm going to give you a tour of some of the clocks Papa has in his house. We're going to start with this clock right here. This is called a grandfather clock. And it was my dad's clock. My mom and dad bought that clock when I was a small boy. And I remember going with them and getting it. They bought it in North Carolina, a long way away. And we drove with it back to our house and set it up. And now it's my clock. So let's take a look at it here. So there's the face of the clock, Elliot. And if you can see what time it is, it's 3:22. See, this is 3:20, 1 and 2. The clock's not running right now very well, so Papa's got to work on it. But this clock also has something else that's really interesting. See this up at the top? This is the moon. So if you look out at night, you can see the moon. And the moon sometimes is big and bright. Sometimes it doesn't seem to be there at all. And sometimes it's only half. Well, this tracks where the moon is at so that you know where it's at and you don't have to go outside and look at night. You can know during the day. So I'm going to shut this top door and I'm going to shut this bottom door. And that's Papa's grandfather clock that I got from my mom and my dad. Okay, Elliot, we're going to look at another clock now. It was a clock that was owned by my mother's father, which is my grandfather. It's not a grandfather clock. That's a grandfather clock. This is called a schoolhouse clock. It was made for schools. It has the time up top. You can see it here, but it also has the date, so you know what day. I'm going to open it up so we can see clear. So the time says 4:33. 4:33. So the small hand is just past the 4. The bottom hand is down at the bottom, 3 minutes past 30. Now down here on this dial is the date. It's Tuesday, August 8th. And this clock keeps track of the date. And look at this. Oh, who is this? This is a little leprechaun. And see what he's doing? He's got his hands and he's grabbing this piece of brass here. That piece of brass is a bell. And when this clock hits the hour, it rings a bell for as many times as the hour is. So when it's coming up on 5 o'clock, this bell will ring 5 times. But Grandma says that's too loud. So we have a little leprechaun in here and he holds on to the bell and it makes the bell a lot quieter. Here, I'll show you something else. This is a sticker that was put in here that says this clock was started on June 7th, 1875. So we're coming up on 150 years old. That's old for a clock. So I'll shut the door and it'll sit there and tick. But again, this clock was owned by my mother's father, who was my grandfather, and he liked old clocks. I'll find more clocks for you later. So now we're upstairs, and I'm showing you another special clock. And if you look real close, you see the word Atmos, A-T-M-O-S. And what this clock is, it's called an atmospheric clock. It's not running right now, but my father is Nelson D. Roark. You can see this nameplate. And he got this from the company he worked at. He worked at a company called IBM. And when he worked there for 25 years, they gave him this clock. And that happened on December 16th, 1980. That was before your dad was even born. So it's older than he is. But this clock works by the atmospheric pressure changing. And as the atmospheric pressure goes up and down, it winds the clock. And the clock runs on its own. I can't run it right now because it needs to be at a very, very stable place and not move. And this cabinet shakes a little bit when I walk across the room. So it's not a good place for this clock to run. So we're going to just put it away and we'll let it sit at, what time is that? That's 7:24. That's right. And it's just going to stay there for forever. Now, here's one more clock. I used to work for a company called Nestle Purina. And it says 10 years of service. And this clock is running, but it's got the wrong time because the batteries are wearing out. See the second hand? It moves a little bit, but it's not moving enough to go around. So Papa's got to fix this clock, and I'll work on that one later. So, what do you think about my clocks? You'll have to let me know. Oh, wait a second. I have one more clock I can show you. This is my last special clock I'm going to show you. But doesn't look that special. It's just sitting there. Do you see the time? 3:31 in the afternoon. And it says it's the 32nd week of the year. That's what the 32 is. And it's the 8th month, which is August, and the 8th day, so August 8th. But, and it's 73 degrees. It tells us the temperature too. But it does one more special thing. Let's look. If I turn and look at the ceiling, it's too light outside. You can't see it now. But let me see if I can get closer. There, you can see it just very faintly. Let me get it right. 3:32. And that is being shown on the ceiling of my room. So that when I lay in bed at night and I look up at the ceiling, I can see what time it is. So that's Pawpaw's special clocks. I'll talk to you later. I love you. Bye.